All right, so we're here today with b.c.Soul, a nice little pre-interview before the EP drops.
Yeah.
So, just gonna have a casual conversation, ask you some questions about the EP, your process, your thoughts, things like that. Um, but before we get started, introduce yourself for those who may not know,
Yeah.
and sort of what this project is and what it's like meant to do.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, b.c.Soul. Follow me on all social media at b.c.Soul. Um, and yeah, for this upcoming EP is actually the first of two EPs that are going to come out this year. This first one is called Lonely Days on the Moon. And essentially, it was a nice little interesting dark year last year. A lot of life transitions happened, a lot of things. And I just, turned to music as always to be that thing to help me through. So, and it was so lonely that I felt like, I might as well just be on the moon at this point, right? Like, I mean, like that's literally what it boiled down to. So,
Okay.
and this project is 100% just me by myself, no features.
Okay.
So I kept that loneliness
Theme
there,
throughout.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, how many songs can people expect on the EP?
Yeah, there'll be 5 on each EP.
So with the 5 songs, I know you mentioned 2023 was like a little bit darker of a year.
Yeah.
So does each song have a different moment of 2023 that it's referring to?
Definitely. I ended up probably starting production on about 12 to 13 songs during the process. Some I'm still just like, ooh, don't know what I'm gonna do with that song, if it's ever gonna come out or when it should come out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of like how dark or deep it may have felt. But for each one of the songs that did make the cut, it definitely touches in on everything from loss of friendships to dealing with old wounds and people who just keep coming back in your life or who you just keep letting come back in your life. And you're just like, whoa, I should stop that. To all the way just talking about like family things as well. So a little bit of everything for sure is covered on this.
So listening to the EP, I haven't heard the full thing,
Yeah.
but so let's say somebody's listening to this for the first time.
Yep.
Or how much into your life? This sounds like a very personal EP, right?
Yeah.
So, are you talking in code, or like, can somebody listening to this be like, okay, that's what he meant. This is the point of that. Like,
Both.
okay,
Both. There's some people, situations where I was just like, you know what? I gave my word that I would not. Like that actually, was a thing that I committed to not talking about certain things.
that's good.
But I did talk about the impacts that I personally dealt with. Like I may have talked about the aftermath
Mm-hmm.
of that thing, but I didn't specifically dive headfirst into the actual thing. So that does exist. And then there's certain things that, even when I was talking to my producer, I was just like, I don't feel comfortable putting this out only because of the damage it could possibly do to people who I hadn't had conversations with yet. So for me, everything's a process. Like you got to do things right. So I'm just like, if I put the song like that out, like I should have a conversation with you one on one. Like
Right. You don't want to say not.
not trying to sidetrack someone.
Not trying to do like a Megan and Nikki sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it's not.
Just calling
It's not.
people
It's
out.
not worth it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So do you want to like quickly name the 5 songs on the EP, and then give like a quick description of sort of what that song meant or why you sort of
Yeah.
came up with that song?
So track 1 is Push. That one, as you say, probably has the most codes.
Okay.
It's very, I think it was written really poetically. So it's just like, as you digest the actual lyrics, you're like, oh, he's talking about a period where he's been a hoe, possibly, or
Possibly.
possibly, like I may have had a moment, right? Or, just insecurities and that sort of thing, just like really talking about, like, and that, I think, Push kicks off it really setting the tone for the project. Is like I'm literally laying on here on this couch and I'm not getting up for days at a time, and I'm hoping my job doesn't fire me. Like I'm really like talking about like that those moments. So that's what push is really just encouraging myself. Somehow you got to figure out how to push through this. Somehow,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got to push through the fake smiles. You got to push through just like everything and
Yeah.
figure this out.
So, so push is more so you. This is not necessarily about any particular situation, or
It came as a result of multiple situations.
okay.
Yeah,
And so, listening to it, we may be able to decode
absolutely.
what those situations might have been.
Absolutely, and those who are close to it will be able to definitely decode a little deeper, you
Okay.
know. But I don't think it's that. Like, if you just pay attention to the lyrics, I think any normal person would be like, "Oh, okay, you know,
Okay.
got you."
Okay. So track number two.
Track number two is, gosh, I should know these like the back of my hand. I promise you I do. But yeah, number two is Man Enough.
Mm-hmm.
Man Enough is just sort of like, in a nutshell, being man enough to let friends know that like I'm good with this. Like like this isn't a friendship that's mutually beneficial. So might as well just like let it go, let it be. Man enough to still love you from a distance. Man enough to actually walk away from this. You know, realizing that just because I've known you for 20 years doesn't mean that the quality was where it needed to be. Like, there's people who I just met in the last 3 months or so who have provided so much more quality in the friendship
Yeah.
that I may have gotten out of a 15-year friendship, you know? And it's just like realizing those sort of things. Like, I can't keep holding on just because of how long I've known you.
And so, with this particular friendship, is this under the category of you spoke with that person to like make sure certain things weren't said?
Oh, this one I didn't feel like I needed permission,
Okay.
you know?
Interesting.
There's some I did talk to, you know? It's so
Okay.
funny. I'm sure this person is watching, you know, or will be watching this as well. Like, the one person even reached out. It was just like, you don't have to like protect me, or you know, like it was kind of interesting and cool. Uh, but like, yeah, like there's certain conversations I definitely had with some friends where I explicitly was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Click. And they never heard from me again.
Right.
You know,
That's where you need a little flip phone.
I know
Click.
it's so much more like
Yeah.
impactful, right? Like dramatic. I love
Yeah.
it. And then there's others where it's just like I don't need to say nothing. Like my actions have already been saying plenty.
Okay. I'm trying to toe the line here of like how deep I'm asking these questions because I have some questions.
Uh
So feel free to not answer.
Okay.
Plead the fifth if you feel the need
One
to.
1,000%.
Um,
You know, I'll pretend like I have a imaginary PR team who will be
mhm.
like, no.
So with the friend that may be watching this
Oh yeah.
about track two, is there anything you want to say to that person, or do you feel like the song says everything that you would want to
No,
say?
the crazy thing is, for that particular person, like, I mean, we ain't been friends. Like, it's been rough for like a couple years, solid. You know, they know why. We
Mm-hmm.
know why. You know, but it's interesting because literally within the last 2 weeks, there was like another conversation. I just knew like this was gonna be like the like final conversation. You know, like because I didn't want to do like the back and forth like trying to like I'm still trying to be cool with you by liking something on IG or you
Right.
know it's just like why are we doing this? And the conversation went 1,000% better than I expected. It caught me off guard actually. Like I was prepared for like to like really be done, like be like good and final. And if anything, it ends up like leading towards a possibility of you know like entering a new friendship. You know,
Oh,
so interesting.
okay. Nice
I
little
mean,
plot
yeah,
twist.
a little plot twist. You know, message still remains the same for Man Enough. You know, that's where I was last year.
Uh
You
huh.
know, it ain't gonna change.
Okay.
And then others who I hadn't had a conversation with, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
You know, like I've been living. Like I mean, they already know it's number love. You know, like and they also know my savage sides and
Right.
stuff. You know, so that's like yeah, that's him.
So do you feel like this EP, like people close to you will be surprised by this EP, whether hearing things for the first time that you may have not told them, or like wow, like he really went there and said that.
Both for sure. Like all that will happen,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you know me. It definitely adds new layers, adds a little extra color to how people tend to see me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been through some good therapy sessions. My gosh, you know, where we're allowing those layers to live. You know, I think I've spent a lot of time being very diplomatic.
Mm-hmm.
This is less diplomatic. You know,
Okay.
like um, this is me unapologetically saying things, standing on them. There's no apologies that I'm going to make about what I say. Uh, yeah,
Now, did it take you a while to get to that point of like releasing songs that you know may ruffle some feathers, but like knowing that you're not gonna really be apologetic about it?
yep. My, I mean, if it weren't for my therapist, shout out to my therapist. You know, if he watches this too. Um, yeah, like we went through some really intense moments last year. You know, like very emotional moments. And that's another thing. Like I'm so diplomatic and good that usually I just like compartmentalize emotions and you know or put them to the side like low key like I already knew I was on the brink of like a possible breakdown
Mm-hmm.
or just a moment and my little ignorant self in therapy is like we're gonna hold off to October though, like I can make it to
I
October.
remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
like I think I was even talking to you last year where I'm just like right now I just gotta keep pushing through. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not the time for me to like have this break moment. Like I'll wait till October comes. I'll hit my job up and be like, I need to take a leave of absence. I'll deal with all the feelings. I'll do all the work. Just let me make it to October.
Mm-hmm.
And then June happened. June happened. And I was just like, well, here we are.
So, whatever happened in June, is there a song correlated to that experience?
Nothing specifically happened in June. Like
Okay.
there was no like. Well, I shall lie. I think June was just sort of like the loneliest month. You know, yeah, the loneliest month for sure. Didn't really, you know, like have strong friendships built. You know, like to have like that kind of support system in place here in Philly. Uh, you know, just relationships just ended, friendships fading, like all the things were happening. And I was just like, huh. I've never had to be this alone in a long time. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that was like the thing. Like it was like I had the time, unfortunately, and I was transitioning out of like my role at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a lot of transition was happening, and there was a moment where like work wasn't as demanding because the new work hadn't started all the way.
Gotcha.
Like it was just like, oh snap, like I got time, and with this time came truth and reality, right? Like that's what happened.
Oh, so you never made it to October because you went through everything in June.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it started in June and it just didn't let up for like a few months.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm so much better. It's weird though. Like in December, my therapist, we went for like weekly sessions because it was ramping up around that time. Like we was doing like twice a month, then it got serious and it was like, oh, weekly, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden in December, he's like, yeah, I think we can do like once a month now. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
But I mean, it was a good thing. So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. That's good to hear. All right, so track number three.
Track three. Track three is empty. Uh, who empty?
And how did that come about?
Uh, empty is that one. It, when you listen to empty, you heard empty. For empty, that's the song where I think I was allowing the wrong person to continuously come in and out of my life. Uh, you know, we have a nice little storied history. That's gonna be like the shocking part. I think this song, when people listen to the lyrics, it's gonna be a thing a little bit possibly. Um, but it's just like, we had this relationship for like 3 years or so. Um, very toxic, being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were some great things too. Like I mean, I'm one of those. Okay, I used to be one of those people who just always see like nothing but the best in people,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just like, man, like, if you could just see how awesome you are, we could be a power couple,
Yeah.
And I'm that one who just like work through it because I'm a very marriage-minded person where I'm just like, if we were married, I wouldn't just be able to freely just walk away from this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we're gonna have these peaks, we're gonna have these valleys, we're gonna have these moments, and I just try to approach them like that. This person, like we, it was horrible. Just like when I look back on it, and even after the relationship ended, I still was just like, I still care for you. Like I will still be there for you if you ever needed me. I'm moving on in life. There is no us, but I'm always in your corner. Like you will always have that special place. And then letting that person stay in my life again caused so much chaos last year. Unexpected chaos.
Mm-hmm. So then why is this song called Empty?
Um, I'm talking directly to that person in the song.
Okay.
And I'm like some of the words from the chorus I think is like you take and give the minimum, break and don't pay for it. Drove me into the ground, left me on empty. And it's just like literally just being at that place where I'm just like I have literally nothing else to give you. I've worked through,
Yeah.
I've pushed
Yeah.
through in all the areas possible. I've let you be loud and wrong, and I still try to love you through it. You know what I'm saying? I see the trauma in it. Like I'm just like very therapeutic minded here, where I'm
Yeah.
just like, I know you're not like actually yelling at me, like you're mad about this, and like, but I know you're not there to talk about that right now. Like, that's always my approach. And at this point, I reached like the end of it. Like I was in the depths of my own issues, and here you are, low key trying to like, let me not even, let me just, yeah. So empty is definitely a direct conversation.
Okay.
I got a chance to scream for the first time on that. Like I'm not a screamer,
Mm-hmm.
but I screamed. Like I just left it
Let
all
yeah.
right there, and I'm
Let it
good.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
to
then one more thing, I
mm-hmm.
felt like it was important for me to like deal with that person specifically because I feel like unconsciously I had allowed that relationship to seep in and leak into other relationships. And even though I thought I had healed all the way and that sort of thing, like there was still some trauma there from my end. So I'm just like, I have to deal with you if I'm ever going to like truly be able to move on and be like fully healed.
Now at the end of break, is there a resolution? Like, does it get better, or does it is it just fully?
Oh, it's so funny because at the end of break, it's empty.
Oh, empty. Okay.
And
And
then
then
for the other person who might be watching this, okay, Rockstar Pryme, as you can see, even when we're not even talking about the song Break, it still comes up because that was supposed to be a single, and we still need a music video for Break from the first album called Shattered.
dang. Sorry I
Right?
brought that up. Uh, we don't gotta get into that one. That was a cold day in January. But yeah, so at the end of empty, is there like a resolution? Do you feel like do you say anything to that person that like you feel like settles it, or does it?
No, I think it was just a big vent, truthfully.
Okay.
Um, I think for me and that person, like, it was resolved when I hung up the phone for the final time.
Did you like slam the flip phone down
I
at the end
wish
of
I
the
had to,
call?
I did like a fiery walk away when I, because when you're on the phone talking to people and you get to start walking and pacing as it gets
Yeah,
more intense, right?
yeah,
I don't know how many laps I should have got. I got some track, like some steps in on that day,
yeah.
like on that phone conversation.
Maybe 10,000 steps.
Yeah, like easy.
Okay. So track four. What is track four?
Track four is a song called "Can't Have You." Yeah, that one is a very probably just as vulnerable, if not, yeah, probably just as vulnerable as the song "Push." Um, in the sense that I'm like being very transparent about feelings that I normally would not admit out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that that like the in a nutshell, "Can't Have You" is about wanting to be with someone that you can't be with. Like, and it could be for various reasons. I'll just speak to my reasons, I guess.
Yeah. This
Um,
is this is
yeah.
the space for it.
But just acknowledging, you know, wrong timing when we met each other, also dealing with like our own personal challenges and family struggles and that sort of thing. Um, their own traumas from previous relationships that prevents them from showing up and being the best person, prevents me from currently showing up and being the best. Like knowing that like in that particular chapter of life,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way that we could come together and actually have a successful anything other than a friendship because we'll probably be toxic together. We'd be very toxic together.
But what's wrong with the toxic relationship? What's wrong with that? We all have them.
It leaves you on empty after a while.
Well said. Well said.
So that's just one of those songs where it's just like in a different lifetime, like it's from Erica Badu. Like I guess I'll see you next lifetime. Like if we had met in a different situation, we probably would have been really good together, possibly.
And
But
this, and when this person hears this, they'll know who it's about, or does that person maybe not won't even know?
they'll know. I gave them a heads up. Yeah, I'm still nervous for them to actually hear it because I'm just like, I never explicitly told somebody like, hey, I'm about to write a song about you,
Right.
about this little situation right here.
Uh huh.
And it's just like, it's all good though. Like, there's no love lost. It's just one of those songs where, some of the lyrics are explicitly saying like, I miss your kiss, even though I've never kissed you. Like I miss holding you, even though I've never held you. Like it's like like the depth of my feelings for you makes me feel like I've had that.
Wow.
It's just like how can you feel so strongly about a person and none of this has ever actually even happened. So it's like a very vulnerable, delicate thing where it's like, damn, I sound crazy as hell, low key. Like, and people know me to be a lot more rational than this. But it's just
Yeah.
like the truth is these are kind of feelings I've had for somebody, and I'm just like, I get, got to resolve that as well. Like, I got to stop doing that.
So you're telling me that there's no possible way in this lifetime y'all could ever get together?
Yeah, pretty confident about that. Uh, pretty confident. I mean, I'll say there's like a 90% chance that it's never gonna happen.
So then, what's the 10%? Like, how does
The
the
10% is when it's gonna be one of them cold days, in hell somewhere where it's just like, wow, we just don't care. Like, I mean, like, there's always something that keeps us apart. Currently is like distance, and like there's like
yeah.
not even like living close, not even like being in the same place emotionally to be available. Like there's always some reason why it doesn't work for us to do that. And at the same time, like when in the few rare times that we actually are able to like hang out or connect or anything like that, like the chemistry is there. Like Like it's there, but like, and we know there's a line, and we want to tiptoe up to that line so tough, but we both know that probably isn't for the best. It would just complicate already complicated emotions even more.
Hey, I feel that.
You know,
Sometimes it's worth the risk.
song talk about that too. It's definitely, I mean, because like literally in the first verse alone, I'm already saying that like I would risk it all because at the end of the day, I know I'd have you.
Mm.
I'm just like, yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, like, even though like I know that they're so delicate and going through so much and life is happening and all these different things happen, I'm just like, and I will suck it up and deal with everything, you know what I'm saying? And I would still commit to like not being an additional thing that hurts you. Like, I will take the pain on this one, like it's that kind of like insanity, low key.
So
That it's just like I know this would not be healthy for us. Like this is not healthy.
but it sounds like it's a 50-50 chance y'all could be together at some point.
Wow, I went from like 10% to 50
You know what I'm saying?
right here.
As I'm saying, judging from the way you're talking, this
Yeah.
sounds like this other person just has to want the same thing, and then 50%, and then
And
the
at the
other
same time, like
50%.
I don't know. I don't know if they want the same thing. Like we feel what we feel, but I don't know. Like we like putting it to words. I don't know if they want the same thing.
Okay.
Like there's a lot that has never been spoken actually,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why in this song is even ending with me just like almost pleading, where I'm just like, just say it, just tell me something, like use your words. You know what I'm saying? Like I explicitly, like I already know this doesn't work, but I need you to also say that this doesn't work. That way I know, like, it gives me like freedom at that point. Whereas it's like,
Okay.
and that's horrible. It's like I already know what I know to be true, and I'm gonna do what's best at no matter what at the end of the day. But it'd be so much easier if I could hear that person also just be like, I agree,
Mm.
this can't work right now. But right now we just
Okay.
do a little dance.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave that one there.
Yeah.
And so we have one more song.
One more, it's called Fast Forward. Um, Fast Forward, you definitely heard that one last summer during the live recording.
Mm.
Initially, yeah, this is Fast Forward was supposed to be on the first album, and it's been rewritten like 3 or 4 times. Like reproduced, like the production has been redone every single time, like because I just continuously just kept hating the song. Like to the point where my producer's wife was like, "Still fast forwarding, huh?" Like, like that's what we.
Dang.
And it finally got to a good place last summer, where yeah, and finished it up recently, and I'm super excited for that song. It's my dad's favorite song on the project,
Mm-hmm.
even though he hasn't heard. There's only one song he didn't hear, which was "Can't Have You." But he heard everything else, and he actually I'll probably give him credit for being like that needs to be on the next project, because I told him I have like songs in the vault that's just like I don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I would release them, and I played one in the car one time, and it was
Yeah.
that one. And he was like, that needs to like be a thing. So shout out to Pops for encouraging me to keep
Mm-hmm.
pushing that song forward.
So what was the reason? Like, what's the story behind Fast Forward?
Fast Forward is a song that actually has like two like dual meanings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you listen to the words, I mean, it's just kind of talking about like how life was just like tearing me up, like truthfully. And part of me is just like, I want to fast forward through this. Like, I want to like hurry up and get this over with. Like, let this moment pass, let it be behind me. Let me know that I survived this,
Mm-hmm.
so wanting to fast forward in that way. But then like the flip side, I play with the words, particularly with the word overthinking, or the framing of overthinking, where it's just like, when you hear it, depending on how you receive it, it's like I'm overthinking this thing or I'm overthinking thinking it.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so it's like I'm either done thinking about this and caring about it, or I'm like doing it too much,
Mm-hmm.
right? Depending on how you hear the song, and if you hear it either way, the song still makes sense. You know,
Oh, snap.
so that's it's I love fast forward. You know, and I think when I was going through, of course, I was overthinking, like doing too much of it. But in this current state where I'm just like listening to it and it feels more triumphant, where it's just like, yeah, I'm done thinking about that. Like I'm done caring about, you know, like how you see me. You know, I'm tired of thinking about like money issues. I'm tired of thinking about like issues with family. Like I'm done with talking about thinking about all that stuff. You know, but at the time, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't do nothing but keep thinking about this all the time, right? So that's what I'm like, you can listen to it either way, and no matter what, the song, you know,
That's dope.
will work for you. And that's why it closes out the project before we go into the second EP. Yeah.
So, overthinking, would you say is your favorite song on the EP?
Nah. I love Fast Forward for sure. Like,
Oh, fast forward. Sorry.
yeah, so many years on that thing or to get it to this place. And it's like, all live instrumentation. Like I love that piece of it. You already know me. I'm very like you would have thought I was a musician. Like I play an instrument somewhere. As
Right.
much like instrumentation as I put like as I like pursue in production. If I had to choose a favorite on the project, um, you know what? For a whole different reason, not even for like a sentimental reason at all, it would probably be Man Enough. You know,
Is that the second one
the
on there?
second one.
Second. Okay.
I mean, I was gonna say Can't Have You just because of like recency bias. Like
Right.
it's on repeat for me right now because that was like the last song created. But Man Enough was like I'm just proud of it for a different reason because my producer and I, shout out to Keith Costin, best producer in Philly, hands down. Um, and basically, he and I challenged ourselves. Um, he actually mentioned like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like for us to create a song like in one session. Usually a session for he and I. I'm famous for booking a 4 hour session. Like I feel like that's like perfect amount of time to like get things accomplished. So my sessions are always 4 hours with him,
Mm-hmm.
and never have we created a song in one session. I'm one of those people where it's just like we may create production today. You know, I may even put out a demo vocal, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm famous for like I'm going to redo the whole entire song the next time I see you, and then I'm probably going to do it another time again. Like it's gonna be multiple sessions with me
Yeah.
because I'm gonna let it marinate. I'm gonna critique the hell out of it. You know, everybody uses like some form of like autotune and that sort of thing at times, but it's just like there's like those moments where it's just like something will auto-tune it crazy, and I'm just like, is that really the note that the system thinks that should be? You know, and I'm just like, well, if that's what you want, system, I'm gonna go
Right.
back and I'm actually gonna sing the hell out of that song so that I can do that note. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the way that I guess musically it should be done. Like I'm not a musician. I don't always hear it the same way that I sing it sometimes. So I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do that then. So we did one session, and I was just like, let's do this. And it's only because I scrapped the song. Honestly, like he was ready to mix, and it's like
Wait. So the last song, he was ready to mix and master.
we were ready to. This project was supposed to be wrapped up in like December or something like that, and it was, but once again, give me too much time. I'm gonna start thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna be like, actually, I'm going to scrap this song. So I ended up scrapping like 2 songs in the last month. Like this project was supposed to have been out.
Mm-hmm. So you scrapped a song and then in one session you made a whole new song, and that's Man Enough.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I came in thinking that we're going to create like a nice little piano ballad because some of my beef from my first album up until now is like, you know, being a black artist, a lot of times I'm automatically thrown into like the R&B category. End of the day, wanted to create something from scratch, realized that like I don't sit in my R&B bag as nicely as I can sometimes. So I'm just like, let me just see if I can challenge myself because I feel like I'm a rock star to a certain degree. You know, like I have these little rock tones and raspy things that are just happening, and I'm just like, man, like, can I just like calm down enough and sing something a little smoother, you know, like more chilled, etc. And I thought I was going to do a piano ballad, and it did not turn out to be a piano ballad. And the production that we created was so fire that I ended up scrapping multiple verses that were already written, and I'm just like rewriting in the studio. He's creating something. We're bouncing off of each other, and ultimately, that's how we ended up with like Man Enough. And I was just like, let it be. Like I'm not gonna keep touching it.
Right.
I'm not gonna do anything.
Right.
So,
All right, two rapid fire things because we gotta get out of
rapid
here.
fire.
What song are you most excited for your audience to hear?
Empty.
Okay.
Empty.
Okay.
Empty's weird, but when you give it some time,
Okay.
it'll be a favorite.
Okay. So look out for Empty on the track. Last thing, let everybody know when it's coming out, where they could find it, like, you know.
Yeah. By the time you see this, no matter when you see this, you should go to b.c.Soul.com and purchase it. There's a pay what you can kind of option there with like a minimum set. So I definitely prefer that route. And that's how I promote the project for the first month, month and a half. And then after that, I'll allow it to go to all streaming services, you know.
Okay.
But independent artists, we're struggling out here. We put a lot of money into these studio sessions,
Especially you.
music videos, like all the things cost money. And I'm glad I'm able to do that for your entertainment. But it's, you know, be great to invest back beyond the stream.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me today. It
No,
was
for
a
sure.
nice
Thanks for having me.
conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely check out the album, the EP.
Yeah. The only days on the moon.
Yeah, and then we'll be back again for the next EP.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool.